Hello, boys and girls. Thank you for joining Mr. Like. This week's focus, we're going to be sharing a fictional story, and I know you all know that fiction means made up, especially when we have Pete the Cat. We got a cat that talks, a cat that sings, Pete the Cat, and his 4 groovy buttons. Hope you enjoy this story. Want to talk about that word groovy really quick. Used quite a bit in the story. And it's a word, if you think of special words, well, it's definitely a special word that's used in Pete the Cat and his 4 groovy buttons. Went to dictionary.com to see what the meaning of groovy truly is so that you would understand. And one of the definitions was attractive. So when we're thinking of his buttons, we're thinking of 4 attractive buttons. So enjoy the story. There is no blurb on the back, okay, so we'll take a little bit of a sneak peek, if you will. And you know that every story has a problem, but let's take a good look at the beginning with our friend Pete. He's looking pretty proud. He's looking pretty bold, if you will. He's looking pretty confident about those buttons, and he's proud of those buttons. And as I turn the page here, we take a look. He's so proud he's even singing a song, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But when I turn to the next page, we find out that one of those buttons is popped off. So there we have identified the problem in the story. Let's take a look at Pete the Cat and his 4 groovy buttons. Pete the Cat put on his favorite shirt with 4 big, colorful, round, groovy buttons. He loved his buttons so much, he sang this song. There's Pete. Isn't that neat? Pete is neat. We gotta love Pete. My buttons, my 4 groovy buttons. My buttons, my 4 groovy buttons. Yeah, he is a fun cat, enjoying his buttons. Pop! Oh no, one of the buttons popped off and rolled away. How many buttons are left? Well, if we started with 4, we take away 1, we end up with 3. You got it, all you mathematicians out there. I know you came up with that answer. Groovy is what Pete is thinking. Did Pete cry? Goodness no. Buttons come and buttons go. He kept on singing his song. My buttons, my 3 groovy buttons. My buttons, my 3 groovy buttons. There's Pete enjoying his 3 groovy buttons. Pop! Oh no, another button popped off and rolled away. How many buttons are left? You do the math while I show you the picture. Pretty cool on his skateboard. Pete the Cat, he is one groovy cat. There are 2 buttons left. Did Pete cry? Goodness no. Buttons come and buttons go. Kept on singing his song. My buttons, my 2 groovy buttons. My buttons, my 2 groovy buttons. Down to 2, people. Notice that Pete is the type of character not getting upset, not going to sweat the small stuff. Pop! Oh no, another button popped off and rolled away. How many buttons are left? Enjoying his ice cream too. I like ice cream. Good stuff. 1 button is left. Did Pete cry? Goodness no. Buttons come and buttons go. Kept on singing his song. My 1 groovy button. My 1 groovy button. Pop! Oh no, the last button popped off and rolled away. How many buttons are left? There's Pete, enjoying life. 0. 1 take away 1 is 0. Did Pete cry? Goodness no. Buttons come and buttons go. Pete looked down at his buttonless shirt, and what do you think he saw? his belly button. And he kept on singing his song. Even after he lost the other buttons, he still had his belly button. And he's thinking, it's all good. My button, still have my belly button. My button, still have my belly button. That's a good thing. I guess it simply goes to show that stuff will come and stuff will go, but do we cry? Goodness no, we keep on singing. That's a good thing, a good lesson to learn in life. Don't let the problems get you down. Just keep singing and stay positive. Buttons come and buttons go. So I hope you enjoyed the story this week, thinking about Pete. He's really neat. And I'll tell you, I really enjoy how Pete just looks for that silver lining. As a matter of fact, we got a special guest here tonight. Yes, this is one of Mr. Lake's rooms. It's our, what we call our library. And we do have lots of cool books behind me. Pete the Cat's one of them. And speaking of Pete the Cat, look who our special guest is. Yes, there's Pete the Cat. And he's looking at you, people. He's looking at you thinking, read some good books. And I hope you enjoyed Mr. Lake reading to you about me. Because I'm Pete and I'm neat. And I'm off my feet. And that will be complete for tonight. Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Lake. Well, you're welcome, Pete. And thank you for taking the time, Pete, to join us. That's very nice of you. And don't forget, groovy is one groovy word that can mean attractive. Okay? Because Pete has had four attractive buttons. Take care. Have a great week. Keep reading, my friends. Bye-bye.